What is up, YouTube? This is your girl Jessica Catherine, and I'm coming to you guys with another video. This video is going to be about Kyrie Irving and Kanye West and their anti-Semitic sentiments that they have towards the ooze. Now, I want to start off by saying and pointing out that both of these black men have attained their wealth through the allowance and signatures of non-black people. If it was not for non-black people, Kyrie Irving would not be a basketball superstar because, those same non-black people, those same ooze had to sign on the dotted line for him to be a millionaire. This goes for Kanye West as well. Kanye West already had money through his record label. I think it's Feel Good Music or Good Music. He was already making money through, Jay-Z and his music, even in that aspect, when it comes to record labels, there are also non-black people who are signing those checks and who runs these corporations that allow black men to attain the wealth and power that they have. Now, Kanye West is a billionaire. He surpassed Jay-Z. He is one of the richest men in America. And that would not have been possible if it was not for non-black people. The same ooze that this man is then in turn going around and, spreading quote unquote hatred for these people. Now, Kanye West recently had deals with a lot of non-black people such as Balenciaga, Adidas, certain banks, and just a list of corporations that co-signed Kanye West in his creative endeavors. And they all dropped him because he started to say things about the ooze and saying that they promote negative stereotypes about black people and that they only promote things that would destroy the black family or destroy the black community, i.e. via the rap game. He made a statement that was like, the rap is nothing more than I'm a off that N-word, I'm a F his B, I'm a off that N-word, I'm a F his B. And that just goes to show you how toxic the rap culture is. It's literally nothing but, I'm a off that inner and I'm a F that B, and it's just a whole bunch of derogatory and anti-family structured rhetoric when it comes to the black culture. It's nothing more than, cheating and lying and stealing and offing people that look just like you. It's almost like music of self-hatred, music of black people hating themselves. And I can totally agree with Kanye West in that aspect. But don't be too mad at, the ooze because they got the monopoly on, the rap game before any of the black, millionaires that have came before us, Master P, Jay-Z, P. Diddy. If that was the case, then, these men would have complete record labels of their own that doesn't require non-black people to sign with their pen. But, unfortunately, that's the game that we choose to play here in America. This is the money game. And the money people that, run the money game are non-black. It just is what it is. So if you want to think smart about it when it comes to money and economics and maybe building a African-American community, you might want to think twice before you disrespect the same people that are actually going to fund whatever you choose to do. For instance, Kanye West, he quote unquote was supposed to be making an all-black, community, maybe like a Tulsa, Oklahoma situation that, just a historical fact, Tulsa, Oklahoma was bombed by non-black people through this guise of the black people running in Tulsa had, anti-white sentiments. And the crazy part about it is that when do we learn to just move in silence? If you're going to open up a black community, don't open it up while you have this anti-Semitic rumor that's going on about you. Because then once you build whatever you build, they're going to in turn say, oh, this is anti-Semitic. It needs to be dismantled. When will black people realize that you really have to move in silence? You don't see ooze saying, oh, we're going to make our own schools and make our own communities so we can overthrow the current power structure. You don't see ooze saying that, but what you do see in the background is kind of them actually doing that. They have their own schools, they have their own school buses, their own communities, their own churches, synagogues. They don't function with American society. So it's like, I can understand the fear where, these people should be exposed because of the monopoly that they have on things like the media, law, probably some other, convenience store. They have monopoly over housing, real estate. It's a lot of essential things that the ooze control. Now, I am all for exposing, the facts. It is what it is. If the ooze have a monopoly on where black people rest their head, the opportunities they have, the music that they listen to, yeah, it does have a right to be exposed. But never forget, at some point you have to take accountability and realize, why don't we control our own destinies? Why don't we control our own economies? Why don't we control our own housing, our own opportunities? In every instance, almost in every instance, in order for any black person to obtain some wealth or be successful, they have to cross over into mainstream, corporate dealings, because that's where the money is. The higher up you go in this country, you are going to be met with a non-black person, and it is what it is. Now, if you want to change that, that's fine. You have the money to do so. But, black people have the money to do so now. We're not so oppressed as we were before. They're not kicking us out and slamming doors on us when we want to sit at these big tables with these heavy hitters. We have black people sitting at those tables. But when you sit at those tables, you have to conduct yourself with some sort of decorum. You can't play this juvenile color game when it's, the ooze are bad people because they're, the R word, or, the ooze are not the real ooze because black people are, we come from Israel and stuff like that. And what kills me is, how many identities do black people need in order for them to feel confident enough to build the infrastructures where we are completely self-sufficient? Why do black men or black people always have to be reminded that they're gods or they're kings or they come from a royal lineage for them to uprise, and not really uprise to go to war? Because is that really what you would rather do? If anything, you uprise with your dollar and you get into this economic game and you play smart. Take that money, and instead of going into other communities, the first thing that black people do, the first thing that Kanye West did, is hand down his money, his lineage, his royalties down to a non-black woman. Now he has mixed children. He did not hand any of his wealth down to, the black community per se. Yeah, he has a Donda basketball team, but is that a school? I'm not sure if that's a school. Are they teaching, these what Hebrew Israelite teachings? And even if, black people discover that they come from a royal lineage, what does that do for you economically? It does absolutely nothing. Knowing that you came from the kings and you are royal, it does nothing to change the fact that these oohs are the people who are signing these deals. They're controlling the media stories about Black people. They are, controlling the housing that we live in. They control everything around here. But whose fault is that? Are they really stopping you from, buying real estate if you have the means? All of these, six-figure Black men that we have now in the community, what's stopping y'all from creating, a Black community that's self-sufficient? What's stopping y'all from creating grocery stores and transportation routes from Black farms to, Black grocery stores? What's stopping y'all from doing that? Creating self-sufficient situations for Black people so that we control our destinies. We should have our own schools, our own grocery stores, our own housings, our own communities, the same way the oohs do. Don't get mad at them because they're doing it. And now you want to say, oh, we are the real oohs. Okay. Even if you are, now what? That's my whole thing. Black people just want to talk. They want to call themselves kings. They don't have any sort of kingdom. They don't own anything. They don't own any type of resources, even down to Africa. You have the Chinese man all through Africa, taking over all the resources. The Chinese man down in the Caribbean, taking over all the resources. It's like we don't even own anything when it comes down to the most resourceful continent on the planet. So what is really wrong? Are our leaders, are our Black kings, are our Black people only focused on, right now or materialistic things like cars and buying houses and buying from other people? The whole thing is, it was said that if all Black people got their reparations, they would give more than half of it right back to the people that they got it from. That is absolutely true. Because what is everybody going to do? They're going to go give their money back to the oohs, buy some houses in their neighborhoods. They're going to go to grocery stores where they're predominantly running everything. They're going to buy European clothes. So not only are you supporting non-Black people over here, you're supporting non-Black people overseas. That's the first thing y'all do, i.e. Kanye West. The first thing you do is you have to go to Europe and beg to be in their fashion industry. As a billion-dollar Black man, the first thing you do is not create your own fashion industry, not create your own factories. Sway did have the answer. Sway was like, why? Okay, the European, Kanye West came on to Sway's talk show and he was whining and crying, saying that the non-Black people would not allow them into the fashion industry. And he did all of this to get into the fashion industry just to in turn make $1 billion and then basically give the oohs or the non-Black people his tush to kiss, all because they weren't, things weren't going his way. When things was going his way and he obtained that $1 billion, he was all for it. He was all for the appearing like a white man image. But now that, things are going left, now he wants to come back and fall back into the Black community, even though he said several anti-Black things about Black people. But, Kanye West gets to pick and choose when he gets to be Black. So I guess he's balancing his scales as far as what he's doing for non-Black people, what he's doing for Black people. Nevertheless, it's just not smart. It's not smart to bite the same hand that we still need to feed off of. And that's just period. Because if everybody decided to, boycott this and boycott that, we wouldn't be able to get no food. We wouldn't be able to get no housing. You wanna know why? We can't get it from Kanye West. We can't get it from none of these celebrities or people of wealth and influence. They're not building, housing for Black people. They're not making all black neighborhoods. They're not doing anything. They're not owning any type of resources. And most of them are giving their resources right back to the non-Black communities. So it's just like, I don't understand the point of them rebelling and saying, oh, we are the real ooze. They're not the real ooze. Okay, you could be a ooh, you could be a king, you could be a lord, you could be a god. At the end of the day, if you don't own any resources, you are below. You are beneath. You will always be a consumer. And that's where the slavery comes in, because they keep us wanting to consume their products, because Black people don't look at their own products as any better. What happened to Sean John? What happened to Rockaware? What happened to Fubu? These are all Black owned clothing lines that, where are they now? Are Black people supporting them now? Most Black people would rather go get some Nike, go get some Balenciaga, go get all those high-end, quote unquote, high-end European fashions versus supporting their own. And that's exactly why Kanye West didn't just come out and make his clothing line just for Black people by Black people, because he know that he wouldn't get the amount of support that he would had he gone mainstream. And it's not even so much about Black people supporting. The numbers, the population. Black people are only 13% of the population in America. So, economically speaking, you would need more than Black dollars to become successful. Wouldn't you want to get money from the majority of the population in this country? Wouldn't you want to have customers who are non-Black, who actually can afford, who's not going to bargain with you, who's going to actually pay the top dollar for your product? If anything, Kanye West could have made something by himself and had them non-Black people buying his stuff. But this whole, I'm going to rebel against the system because we're the real ooze, and he wants to be quote unquote anti-Semitic and make these non-Black people mad. It's not economically smart, because they're the majority of the population in this country. They have the money. So how, in order for you to make a Black community, you need their money. We need their money. The same way they need ours, we need theirs. You don't see the ooze saying, oh no, these Black people, I don't want them living in our apartments. I don't want their money. They're all dealing with governmental housing and, welfare, Section 8. They're dealing with governmental stipends and checks from the government. So they're not really pressed on Black people, but they still gonna get their money. Okay? I remember a couple years back, the ooze had a lawsuit against them for welfare fraud. They be playing a game. They not in the Black communities for no reason. They playing a game on you, and they playing a game on this government. Honestly. They don't even have to pay taxes. So it's just I'm happy the fact that, things are being exposed for the ooish people, because everybody has their time to get exposed. Truth will always come to the light. So I'm cool with that. But this whole anti-Semitic thing, we're the real ooze, what's wrong with just being African American? Why we always got to be from Egypt, from this place, from that place? What's wrong with being African American? Why can't you just be an African American billionaire? To make a long story short, I am semi-proud of Kanye West. I feel like had he had the mental stability to see this thing through, it might have come into something worthwhile. It might have bared some fruit. He did make a school, the Donda Academy, although it's an unaccredited school. So it's basically not a real school. So he attempted to make a school, Dr. Umar Johnson. Dr. Umar Johnson has still yet to make his school. But it's just simple things like that. Like, you mean to tell me this billionaire black man couldn't make an accredited school? Instead of focusing on anti-Semitism and who are the real oohs, we need to focus on getting a hold of our own resources, our schools, our banks, our grocery stores, just to start with, our housing. So you mean to tell me black men or black people in general have advanced so far, but yet we still don't own any resources? Our entertainment, like football teams, basketball teams, we still have millionaire black people who still have to answer to non-black people in order for them to get their money. And that all goes to show that the first thing that, black people do is give their wealth and their power over to non-black people. And at some point, you have to stop pointing the finger and look at yourself as to why, at this point in time where black people are not so much oppressed, we still have the opportunity to become billionaires and millionaires and go to college and become successful. We have that. So why is it that we don't own any resources still? Why is it that the first thing black people do when they get money is give their money away to other people and then get mad because they have all the money? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And the way Kanye West is going about it, he might have been a beacon of light for, black people. He might have had the right idea as far as, look at who's controlling everything. I'm glad he shined a light for black people to realize that, hey, we don't control anything. And to see the public hanging of Kanye West, realizing that he can get stripped of all his opportunities because black people don't own anything. He's getting stripped of all his opportunities because he still has to answer to the people who gave him the opportunities. And it wasn't black people. Why don't we have black people who create opportunities for other black people to become wealthy? But the first thing y'all want to do is point a finger and blame other people for having money when nobody has a gun to your head. Now, if we get to a situation where they're not allowing us to own any resources, then that's when we can, realize that something's gone amok. But nobody's even tried. And even if people have tried, why haven't nobody done anything about it yet? All these six-figure black people, all these high-esteemed lawyers and doctors and first black woman to be this and first black man to be that, yet and still nobody owns any resources over here. What is the problem? Hopefully, watching the public hanging of these two black men being stripped of all their opportunities, hopefully that wakes black people up and get them to realize that, hey, we still don't own anything. And if we say the wrong thing or act the wrong way, we can get everything stripped from us. You want to know why? Because we don't own anything. We don't own anything to be able to say what we want and do what we want. And why is that? It's not like people don't lack their opportunities. It's not like we're oppressed, like we lack the will. We have so much black excellence, right? So why isn't there like a black excellent conglomerate coming up with ways that we can be self-sufficient? Why don't we have any black communities like a Tulsa, Oklahoma that can be rebuilt? Every time we've had a leader build one of these camps or communities, it's always like toxic. It's always built off of sex, and it's like a sex cult, and it's just like mad, just weird stuff going on, instead of there being economically sound place. Like, Listen. I'm going to end this video right now because I've said all I can say. I think that Kanye West is going about this the wrong way, because it doesn't matter if you're if you're black people, if you're brown people, if you're a fucking freaking alien. It doesn't matter what you claim you are yourself. If you don't own any resources, you're nothing. You will always be at the mercy of the next man. You're always going to get seconds, because they're going to take care of their people first. And I don't blame them. If anything, take out some notes, watch and learn. That's all I got to say. If you like this video, really like this video, if you want to comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I put out videos whenever I feel like putting out videos. And recently, my mom passed away, so I didn't really feel like putting out videos. So that's the reason why I didn't really make any YouTube videos. But I'm compelled to speak my piece on Kanye West and Kyrie Irving, because it's just so disappointing to watch these black men drop the ball. Now Kanye West, even though he has the influence, he has the money, anything that he tries to build over here is going to be considered anti-Semitic. It's going to be considered anti-white, racist, and it's not going to flourish. Simply because he had to open up his big, wide, cheeky mouth. And yet and still, all his wealth is going down to his non-black children, his non-black wife. So it's just like, you don't really care about the black family. Like, you get to pick and choose a side. Another thing, Kanye West and Kyrie Irving is presenting this information that black people are the real ooze as if it's something new. And black people are soaking it up like, wow, that's so profound. Like, have you not seen the Hebrew Israelites on the corner of, your local downtown neighborhood? Hebrew Israelites from 125th Street in Brooklyn been saying the same rhetoric for years outside with their microphones and their Bibles up in people's faces, saying that black people are the real ooze. But then at the end, they want to ask you for a donation or something. They always want a donation. So it's like, even with that information, what good is that going to do anybody? Okay, you're the real ooh. Now what? Are you going to control your schools? Are you going to control your resources? Or are you going to do that with an anti-Semitic, anti-white sentiment that's going to just lead to, us looking like, or them looking like, domestic terrorists? They're going to call you racial extremists. And they're just going to target you like they did Farrakhan. And guess what? You won't even have a platform to spew your rhetoric, because guess what? Non-black people own YouTube. They own Facebook. They own Instagram. So it's like, we're so far behind on the ball of owning our own media, our own resources, and that needs to be the focus. It doesn't need to be a anti-non-black people movement. It needs to be a movement where black people come together economically and rotate our dollar within our communities, within our businesses. Let's support each other. That's what needs to come out of this. And it's just really sad that now that Kanye West chose this classless route to, unify black people, now he's going to be blackballed with any endeavor that he chooses to do here in America. Now, if he opens a community, it's going to be, they have anti-Semitic sentiments, or they're being terrorists, or, you know what I mean? So anything that he does right now from this point is going to be obsolete. And you guys just have to be smarter. You have to be smarter and realize who has the money in the situation in the first place. Where are you going to get the money to fund your black-owned communities? Where are you going to get the money from? You have to do business with other people. What do you think America, is doing with China, or, America does with other countries where we need their resources? We play the game. You have to play the game in order to be economically smart in this world. Unless you have everything for yourself, you're always going to need the next man. So it's just like, let's play this really smart. Don't try to, secede from America. Try to work within its confines, like Jewish people, like the Jewish people do. If you like this video, really like this video, comment below. Let me know how you guys feel about what I said. As always, I love you guys. I will see you guys later. So sorry about this long video, but bye guys.